Hello and welcome to Canberra, to the beautiful inner southern suburb of Deakin. It is a glorious afternoon here in the nation's capital for this game, but in the Capital Football PS4 National Premier Leagues. It's the semi-final. It's the first semi-final in the competition, and to say we should be in for an exciting afternoons of football is somewhat of an understatement. Canberra Olympic and Belconnen United, first and second seeds standing. Of course, the FFA Centre of Excellence was also up there at the pointy end of the table, but they've been wound up. So it's the Canberra Olympic side, who were the minor premiers, finished on top of the ladder. Belconnen United finished third, but they are the second seed remaining in the four-team final series now, up against each other. They've had a couple of cracking games earlier this year. In fact, Belconnen United went very, very close to beating Canberra Olympic early in the season. We saw that game here on Bar TV. That was a very, very cold night. It was a seriously cold night. It was up at McKellar Field in the middle of July. I reckon it was pretty close to zero by the time the sides got off the field. Belconnen United actually took the lead in that one. They led after 54 minutes, courtesy of a Daniel Fabrizio goal. It was a cracking goal as well, but they couldn't hold on against a fast-finishing Canberra Olympic and their goal machine, Stephen Dominici, who bagged both goals, including one from a penalty in the 85th minute. That turned out to be the difference between the sides. Prior to that, these sides played each other back in round 4, finished 4-3. Now, you might think that's a goal fest. If I was to say that after 62 minutes in that game, it was 0-0. Before it finished up 4-3 with the goals coming and coming and coming, including 2 in injury time. And that man Dominici was in the thick of it again. He kicked 3 goals back in round 3, Canberra Olympic winning that game 4-3. So overall, it's been 2 wins to the Canberra Olympic side against their Belconnen United opposition in this season in the Capital Football PS4 National Premier Leagues competition, but they have not been easy wins. So, can Belconnen United spring the upset and score the free pass through to the grand final, or will it be the top seed making that journey? All things being equal, we'll find out in about 90 minutes' time. Of course, being a final, if it is necessary, we will roll on into extra time. We saw extra time in the previous match and in the Youth League game. In fact, that wasn't decided until the 118th minute. I think the goal was finally scored there. So it's a very tense afternoon of football. Just quickly checking the conditions. As you can see, the handshakes taking place over in the middle. Actually, we might just wait before we check the conditions and just see who gets the toss and which way they'll be going. Although, by the looks of it, I reckon you've got Canberra Olympic will be wanting to go from left to right on your screen, and Belconnen United will be wanting to go from right to left, and that is indeed how it works out. Canberra Olympic in the darker blue tops and the dark blue shorts. Belconnen United in the pale blue with the black numbers and the white shorts. 14 degrees right now. There is a slight breeze from the north-northwest, making it feel a little bit cooler if you are in an exposed area like, I don't know, a football pitch. But that was our forecast top for today, 14 degrees, and that's what we've made it to. Now, the forecast did say a late shower today. I might just have a quick sneak on the radar and see if there's anything doing the rounds. I can't see anything by way of rain on the radar, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. And we have a magnificent view right off to the south from where we are sitting here in our commentary spot. Commentating a little bit off centre this afternoon, but it should be a cracking game. Canberra Olympic bring winning form into this game, a 6-1 win last week over the Riverina. Belconnen United, well, they came up against a Centre of Excellence side that was playing its final game ever and was very heavily motivated to win, and indeed the FFA Centre of Excellence won that game 2-0. It was a bit of a dead rubber, but Belconnen United hanging on to third spot, and we are well and truly underway here. Both sides just starting to feel each other out just a wee bit as the ball goes back to the Olympic keeper in Angelo Constantinou for a moment. They switch it across to the right-hand side. Intercept from Reinhardt. He had a good game early in the season between these sides. Nice to see Dustin Wells running onto this in the penalty area. Goes for the cross. No one on the end of it other than the goalkeeper. And Constantinou falls. Takes the ball. And we have our first action in the goal mouth. You can't really say it was a shot on goal, but certainly our first action in the goal mouth. Should be an exciting affair this afternoon as Dominici gets his first touch of the ball. Phenomenal performance from him this season. He hasn't played every game. He's only played 16 of the 18 games for Canberra Olympic. And in those 16 matches, 27 goals. Thank you very much. Not quite matched by his opposite number, but Jason Ugrinich has done pretty well as well. He has played in all 18 games for Belconnen United. 20 goals for the season for Ugrinich. So certainly a lot of firepower up forward. The question is, where does it all come from in this one in the semi-final? There is, in many cases, just the temptation to sit back and see what happens as we see Olympic potentially on their first attacking run, but it comes to naught as it sprays into the forward box, the attacking box for them. Finn Durack was coming out for it, but didn't wind up touching it. He's had a pretty decent season, has Finn Durack. Really impressed with his athleticism in places. This is the first attacking run now from the Canberra Olympic side, and he just loses control of it at the top of the square. And now we've got a free kick with Justin Wells. A little bit of a rough challenge, nothing too much in it. Referee one short blast of the whistle and says Belconnen United can take this one. They come out to the left, again through Reinhardt. Now it's on to Fabrizio. In the challenge, loses the ball. Out over the sideline. Adrian McCaw for Canberra Olympic, not able to keep control of it. So early in proceedings, it's largely been Belconnen United who've had the ball. Just outside the penalty area. Player goes to ground, but nothing in it. And Olympic on the rebound. Now it's on to Habdamarian. He's very quickly moving on with it. You see it over to Dominici. See, it wasn't, sir. It was Colbertaldo. Similar physique, different hairstyle. Should have noticed that earlier. Danger here. Ball comes across. No, it doesn't. Goes out over the back line. And Zach Maybury, I think, the last man to touch it. So it'll be a corner to Canberra Olympic. Galevsky to take it. Tucked away well over in the corner of this ground. The only bit of shade on the ground at the moment. That will start to creep across as the sun gets lower in the sky. No one able to get a clearance on it. And a spraying shot off the right boot of Nathan Medjic. Over the safety netting. Into the backyard. There's someone on a skateboard there who's going to score himself a free soccer ball if there isn't someone quickly enough around there to go and get it. And Finn Durack just getting set with the goal kick as the other ball comes into the field of play on the far side. Someone's going to go and collect it, I'm sure. Durack with the goal kick. Reinhardt been busy early for Belconnen United. He's looking upfield, trying to find, I think it might have been Dustin Wells again. That's been a combination we've seen a few times. Wells was challenged there. Fabrizio was also in the mix, but nothing coming of that either. Header back upfield from Clements off the throw in from Canberra Olympic. Straight back out of bounds, and McCaw, there's the short throw. Gives it to McLaughlin, back to McCaw, now over to Colbertaldo. Colbertaldo pushes the ball back into his own half. Yarnold has a longer ball now, finds McLaughlin. McLaughlin with the back header into attack. Repelled though by the defence. And Reinhardt gets another touch on it. Now it's with Makevsky. Goran Makevsky still going. Unchallenged, puts a ball forward. Was almost in a position for a 1-2, but couldn't quite finish the play. Beaton goes for the long-range pass over to the outside, finding Fabrizio. Now Fabrizio can hold it in the corner for just a moment while his teammates get set. There's a few people running up. Tries to milk the penalty in the end of the free kick. And a very, very quick rebound into the path of the dangerous Dominici. Ball sent out over the sideline by Belconnen United. And Olympic continue the attack. Call of handball in there, but no dice. Ball comes back out over the sideline. Actually, a bit of a push from McCaw, so he gets the free kick instead. They're off into the middle through Colbertaldo. A lot of this attacking from the far side. I think Dominici was the intended target there, but there's only one man who was going to get on the end of that cross, Finn Durack. And with 6 minutes gone, no score between Canberra Olympic and Belconnen United. Chris Coleman with you on Bar TV this afternoon as we bring you the action in the Capital Football PS4 National Premier League semi-final. The second semi-final is tomorrow afternoon, Gungahlin United or Canberra FC. I'm pretty sure that's at Woden, that game tomorrow, about 4 o'clock, the kick-off again. Winner of this game going straight through to the grand final in a fortnight back here at Deakin, and this place will be absolutely rocking when that happens. Bet your bottom dollar on that. Both sides still really sorting each other out a lot in the middle of the park. Very much reminiscent of the game between these two clubs back in the middle of the season at Mackellar. Yeah, this is interesting. It's Grabetza, I think, on the other side. In defence for Belconnen United. Call of handball. This is dangerous, very dangerous. Keeper's come out. It's got away from him. Great clearance. Only as far as Fabrizio, who dropped back. Now Fabrizio's trying to almost do the one-man band effort. It winds up with McLaughlin. McLaughlin puts the ball into the path of a couple of attackers. One of them was Katnack, but Robert Katnack not quite quick enough. Semi-final football, you've got to take advantage of those situations when they arise, but also you've got to try not to make those errors. McCaw sees that ball come over his head in defence. Not much he can do with it. He decides to just slow play down, sends it over the sideline, concedes the throw in. Belconnen United probably the beneficiary of the first real bit of luck in this game here. They could so easily have been a goal against them. Now up at the other end, on the periphery of their box. Nice little grab from Makevsky. Makevsky puts the ball goalward. And it's wide. Took a deflection, so a corner. Did well to actually trap that, did Makevsky. It was going at pace, stuck the left foot out. So Wells potentially getting ready to take the kick, although he's got Ugrinic coming down for a chat now. Sends it right in, bit of body contact at the top of the square. Makevsky, I think it was, who actually had the header in there. It's a bit hard to pick from here. Was it Fabrizio? Might have been Fabrizio, either way. No goal comes from it, and it's Canberra Olympic with the ball in their own half. Habtemariam coming in, doesn't take it. It's Galevsky instead who sends the ball longer up the ground. Seeing a bit of long ball now from Canberra Olympic. Why wouldn't you when you've got Dominici up front who can score goals seemingly at will? He's already got 5 against his opposition today. Belconnen United have seen Dominici give up, score 5 goals. 3 of them in the 4-3 win back in round 4 and a brace in round 13. The only goals that were scored by Olympic on that evening at Mackellar. Sun starts to get a little bit lower in the sky here at Deakin as we see the ball sent forward, but the offside flag flutters. Pretty sure it wasn't Dominici who was offside, it was further across. Finn Durack rather cleverly cribs a couple of yards here. He's got himself 25, I'd reckon, out from his own goal. Now it's Fabrizio. Fabrizio's still going. Can't get any closer to the square. Well checked. Reinhardt now. Reinhardt puts the ball forward. It'll be McLaughlin from Olympic who gets it. Turns around, sends it back upfield, but only as far as Makevsky. Makevsky puts ball back into his own half with Clements. Isaac Clements with the cross. Now comes back to Finn Durack. Oh, gee, that's a interesting way to proceed there. Going for the long ball to try and give Ugrinic something to run onto, but it had too much pace. An end-to-end football, quite literally, with no one else touching it other than the keepers. Durack to Constantinou. Constantinou sends it back into the attacking half, where it only gets as far as Makevsky for Belconnen United. Clements hacks at the ball, sends it across the right-hand touchline. My first time calling football here at Deakin Oval, and in fact it's the first time I've been to a game here in a very, very long time. Cameron Reinhardt. Cross comes in. It was Fabrizio with the cross, but again, no real target for him. United needs someone to be able to just get in a little bit further on their attacking runs. Certainly making plenty of ground up the wings, again through this man Reinhardt in particular. A cross comes in. Who's on the end of it? Well, nobody. And it's easily headed out by the defence once again. And it's Habtemariam for Canberra Olympic. Spins around through the full 360. Has support on his outside from Megic. Megic with the floating ball in towards the keeper. Keeper Durack comes out. It's very hard to pick up the goal square, the penalty box, but he just, I think, had gone outside it and then backed up so he could pick it up. It's very hard for me to pick that up at the moment just due to the glare off the pitch. Calvataldo. Habtemariam. But again, it's the pale blue side of Belconnen United doing better on the run at the moment. Fabrizio gets around one, gets around a second. He's at the top of the square. Shot takes a deflection. Too heavy a deflection. And may you get a second chance here through somebody, but instead it goes out for the corner. So I think what we can say at the moment is that in terms of time in possession and attacking opportunity, it's probably been Belconnen United who've had more of the time in possession in the opposition's half. The Canberra Olympic have probably looked the better of it in terms of attack. Corner comes in. Corner goes across the face of goal, curves out and goes out over the goal line. And I think that underscores what I'm talking about. No real opportunity for it there, and it'll be Angelo Constantinou with the goal kick. Fairly decent crowd here this afternoon. Not sure how much of it you'll see on the Bar TV pictures this afternoon, but plenty of people in the grandstand side. Far side in the open air seating, there isn't as much. A push and shove. Not a bad header on from Fabrizio. He probably touched it more than anyone else. He gets another go at it to try and find somebody, but the referee has said, no, a bit too much push and shove in there for my liking. It's going to go Olympics' way. So they get the free kick from inside their own half. Dominici, no. Instead, actually comes to Katanak. Katanak or Bobolis it was in there in the end. Katanak had it. Another whistle. This will be an Olympic giving away the free kick this time. Reinhardt will take his time to get set. Right, long ball. Goes to ground. And on the rebound, Olympic. This time through McLaughlin. McLaughlin with a cross to, well, nobody in particular. Zach Mabry probably the first onto it from United. He is. Sends it a bit further upfield. Dahl sends it back again to Mabry. Now it's with Beaton. Long ball into space. Yarnold should be the first man at it, and he is, as it trickles over the line, in fact, so it's a throw in. Will be taken for Olympic by probably Megic. It is Megic coming in. He sends it in. Megic or Megic? I've heard both today. Galevsky. And again, rebounding, trying to get it through Wells. Wells can't get any control on it. Nice work to cut through from Milevsky, Mikevsky rather. Again, they turn it around. The Belconnen United defence seeing plenty of the ball at the moment. Isaac Clements taking his time here. Habtemariam comes in for the challenge. So the offload to Fabrizio. Fabrizio puts the ball forward up the middle. But it's all dark blue or royal blue. McCaw to Katanak and back to McCaw. McCaw working the sideline like an abyss. Now gives it to Habtemariam. Jeremy Habtemariam holds off for a second. Across to McLaughlin. McLaughlin can't control it. A little bit of fancy footwork from Grabretza for the United side. But all the fancy footwork in the world won't help you if you're giving away free kicks. And the free kick has indeed been given away. So Olympic, very dangerous from the set play. We've seen this plenty of times this season. Robert Katanak sends the long ball in. It's a header and it's over the bar from Golevsky. Not by much. I did say dangerous from the set piece. And I suspect the closest chance we've seen across the course of the day, with 16 and a half gone. We still remain scoreless in this first semi-final in the Capital Football National Premier League. 0-0. And Finn Jurek decides the best thing to do is to get the ball well out of dodge and sends it up the other end of the ground again. Canberra Olympic just look as though they might have decided it's time to step up a gear. Reinhardt, quick pass inside to a support player to Wells, then on to Fabrizio. So United now also stepping up. Shot comes from Wells, but it's always off target to the left. Suspect he may have had time to take another step or two and get himself set before he took that shot. Could have made it just a little bit more dangerous. Constantinou takes his time. Finally sends the ball well upfield, off the head of McCaw. Arnold deep in defence. He's trying to lure a United player to touch it. Not entirely sure why. Constantinou is ready for the goal kick, and that's gone out straight over the sideline. Curved away quite viciously late. Which means Reinhardt with the quick throw. He'd found Wells, and Wells had Fabrizio in support. The ball being bounced around a little bit. The free kick was in there. Plenty of sky blue jerseys charging up. Just wonder whether they go direct or whether they come back to someone like Reinhardt, who's sitting back, just making his move up towards the top of the square now. Too deep. Wells finds the netting behind the goals. And we remain deadlocked at 0. Quick end-to-end stuff. Jurek charges out of his area and just clears it. Higic will have the throw when the ball eventually returned to him. Just short of halfway. And again, but a lack of targets up forward for Olympic sees it with Maybury. Maybury, however, then surrounded by a fast-closing group of attackers from Canberra Olympic, and all he can do is put the ball out over the sideline. So Olympic have a throw. Being taken just at the top of the square. Have to marry him onto his right, then onto his left. Spins around, dispossessed. And once again, it's on the rebound from Belconnen United. Wells up forward was the target. They couldn't find him. McLaughlin, now as you see it very quickly, rebounding in favour of Olympic. I don't know if McLaughlin was quite ready for it because he's given it away fairly quickly. Now with Belconnen United again. Clearance from Reinhardt. Well up the ground. 3-on-1 here. You'd think it'll favour Olympic. It does favour Olympic. McLaughlin making it a fourth Olympic player in there. Have to marry him comes in. Was looking for Maycourt. He couldn't control it. Reinhardt wanted the quick throw but didn't have anybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dark blue shirts to 2 light blue shirts was the sight greeting Reinhardt as he wanted to take the quick throw. They didn't do really a lot to redress that imbalance either. And now it's Olympic again. McLaughlin on to Dominici. Finds Colbertaldo on the far side. Colbertaldo comes down, asks the referee for some sort of assistance. Referee may as well have been a stone monkey for all that difference. Did not accede to the request. And Belconnen United on the attack again. Now through Fabrizio. Fabrizio Jinx left, Jinx right. Gets to the corner of the square. Off to Makevsky. Now it's beaten. Request for offside from the Olympic defence, and that is indeed granted by the touch judge, linesman, assistant referee, flag bearer on the far side of the ground. So hard to keep up with that terminology these days across so many sports. We've changed the names of them so many times in so many sports. Approaching the midpoint of the first half. Still no score here at Deakin. But again, I know that in the first game between these sides, it finished up 4-3 to Olympic. It was goalless at 62 minutes. Going from memory, in round 13 when they played that 2-1 game, again, we were goalless for the first 50 minutes. So these games this season have really produced a very long softening up period between these two sides before the defences have started to crack. It's a nice run from Yarnold. Yarnold puts the ball forward into the path of McCaw. Sends it across. I think Dominici was on the charge in there. Certainly looked like him. Ball's hit a bit too far ahead of Dominici. That's still an amazing set of stats, isn't it, Dominici, when you think about it? 27 goals in a season, all coming in the space of 16 matches. Nothing to be sneezed at. It comes our way here at towards the commentary box, bounces off the top of the dugout. So Reinhardt again. It comes back to him. After Makevsky had a little bit of a play with it, Reinhardt looking for Fabrizio, but too much power on it. Sent back upfield. Clements has been marking Dominici, wearing him like a cheap suit most of the day. And that has proven very difficult for Dominici to escape from the clutches of Isaac Clements. Clements now sends the ball upfield, looking for someone in the middle. It's Olympic again on the rebound. Through Katanak to Dominici. Dominici can't get control of it. Bit of push and shove between Dominici and Grabeza. It all comes to nothing. 24 gone. Still no score. A very long traditional softening up period between these sides continues as Jurek sends the ball downfield. That's Katanak who managed to get in the first clear possession on it. Got a slip and a fall here. Potentially a bit of help for Bobulus on his way to the ground as well. Trainer being summoned on. Must confess, my view is obstructed as to what may have happened to him there, but he's gone down, clutching his head. So as things stand, the trainer out there. Okay. Now, did he step on the ball there? Is that a possibility? Did he actually step on the ball on the way down? I think he might have done. And if he has, that wouldn't surprise me if he has, because he's having a good look at the trainer's having a good look at the right ankle of Nick Bobulus. Haven't called Bobulus much today. So we've got a break in play here. I suspect we can have another minute or so of this. What I might do is just divert away from what's going on the field for a moment and say it's been a very sad day for Australian sports broadcasting today, with the passing of one of the greats in the commentary game, Drew Morfitt. formerly of the ABC and the 7 network, and I know he worked for a few other people as well. And we see Nick Bobolas being brought off the ground. That's going to upset the back combination a little bit for Canberra Olympic. He gets a generous round of applause, Bobolas, as he comes off in what would be the 27th minute. Of course, what I didn't spot was who's come on to replace him. Joys of making notes there. We'll pick that up soon enough. Bernard Rene in number 8. Oh, that's why we haven't picked him come on, because he's behind the dugout. I was sitting here thinking, I haven't actually seen him come on. Did he come on, sneak on? Bernard Rene comes on there, so coming on to replace Nick Bobolas. And we'll see Rene go over to the far side of the field. Perhaps I'll explain that while we've got the ball just being bounced around in the back half, that we're calling from low altitude here. We're only about, it's only about 10 rows in the grandstand, if that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, in fact, in the grandstand. And it doesn't have a great rake, so we actually are obstructed a little bit for part of the play by the dugouts from the teams. Good run there from Fabrizio. A good dispossession in defence from Canberra Olympic. That's something that has really been understated a lot about Canberra Olympic this year. There's been so much attention paid to their attack, which has, I think, seen them finish with a goal difference of 44 in their favour. It's often forgotten that they've had games where they have not conceded, and they've done very, very well in defence. Long throw from Reinhardt, achieves nothing, goes over the line. So as I was saying before, Drew Morfitt, formerly of the ABC and Channel 7, passing away at the age of just 69. Someone that I'd had the pleasure to work with on numerous occasions, and will be very, very sorely missed by the Australian sports media community. Back to the action here at Deakin, where we are 29 minutes gone and still no score between Canberra Olympic and Belconnen United. Ball sent up the line, but the assistant referee puts the flag up to say it's gone out somewhere along the way. Cameron Reinhardt will take a throw from just inside the halfway line. Long looping throw. Bounces off Fabrizio. It's Olympic who have the best of it. Across the far side through Yarnold. Now on to Rene. Then up to have to Mariam. Lose the ball though. Olympic once again. Wells to Reinhardt. Reinhardt leaves it. Thought Fabrizio might have been able to get onto it. Defence clears it. Chance quickly if they can turn it around here, but instead it's slow ball from Dahl. Now sent back to Clements. You've got Dominici lurking in attack there, keeping himself onside as Galevsky looks to try and set something up. Good defence from the Belconnen United side. The ball trickles out eventually over the sideline well into their attacking territory. Kadanak, target of the throw. Now they work it around through the back three. Target will eventually be McCaw. And he winds up with it just inside his own half. Have to Mariam. Back to Megic. Back to the keeper, Constantinou. Now Yarnold again. And back to Megic. I tell you, must be a dream for a coach as the long ball comes to McCaw. He's onside. He's got Dominici as a target. Clearance, I think, from Maybury in there. Well done. He charged in and just stuck a boot out and got it there. Reinhardt brings it across to Dahl. Fast break from the sky blue side. They lose it momentarily at the halfway line. Now it's with Katnak for Olympic. On to Dominici. Dominici, can he get around? He's got 3-4 to beat now. To McLaughlin, back to Dominici. He back heels it. Galevsky in there. Attack defused, but perhaps only temporarily. Have to Mariam. Back inside, sends it on to Colbertaldo. Colbertaldo, long ball, finds Dominici. Dominici brought down. So this will be a free to Canberra Olympic. This one in a really dangerous position. These are the awkward ones to defend in many ways. Ones that are right on the edge of the box. You've got a fairly decent set play. From a little bit further out, you've got a bit more time to react. This is just at that dangerous location. Just a few yards outside the box. So it's Katnak and Dominici milling around. Referee just getting the wall set to his satisfaction. Katnak on your left. Dominici closer to the ball. We've got three options in the attacking area. Katnak sent it towards Colbertaldo. The plan was for Colbertaldo to then flick it across to Dominici, but didn't quite make it past the second stage. Megic was the target of a long-range cross, a diagonal cross, but again, didn't make it to him. This defence from Belconnen United today has been very, very good. A little bit lucky in a couple of spots, but very, very good as well. Megic. That would be Rene. Rene, long ball, easily taken care of by Finn Durack. 12 minutes till half time, plus a bit of injury time, of course. And still no score here at Deakin Oval. I just think that Belconnen United perhaps need something other than this succession of long balls that they are using to attack. Because really, they're being fairly easily sorted out by Canberra Olympic, time after time after time. Krapeza gets himself into the front position on the goal kick from the Olympic kicker Constantinou and heads it out over the sideline, but it will be Olympic to continue on the attack. You can see the offside line set up by the defence of Belconnen United, keeping the dangerous Dominici well away from goal. Durack has to work fairly quickly. Again, reefs it downfield. There's nobody home. There's nobody up there. I understand the desire to play it at the other end of the park, and it's very hard for Olympic to score if the ball's up the other end of the park, but you've got to have someone up there to take advantage of it. Now, Galevsky gets around one. Right foot shot. Not sure if Durack was diving or whether he just stumbled a little. But Galevsky putting a bit of pressure on from further out. I'm struggling to think of a legitimate attacking chance for Canberra Olympic. For Belconnen United, I can think of 3 or 4 for Olympic, but United at this stage just unable to really do something concrete in that last 10 or 15 yards at the other end of the pitch. Still plenty of time to go. Little tap through. Target was Fabrizio, but he couldn't get there. Ball goes wide to Rene. The defender just subbed on a few minutes ago for Canberra Olympic. It's not a great throw in, and might have just been a little bit of communication problem for the dark blue, for the royal blue side. They've got away with this to a degree. Colbertaldo. Now Katnak. But again, the attack breaks down midfield. Reinhardt turns around to the left, turns to the right, whistle blows. I fancied that Beaton, Taylor Beaton, thought he might have been able to do something there. Winds up being the recipient of the free kick, but It's a set play as opposed to moving play. A bit of a shove in the back for Goran Mikevski. He goes to ground. Now here's a chance. Just the beginning of a chance here for this Belconnen United side. What have they got that's different from previous times I've forward? Well, Wells is going to take the kick. You've got Mikevski on the edge of the box. Fabrizio and a couple of others as targets closer to goal. Go across to the far post, and Fabrizio is the man. Ball goes high in the air off his head. Shot, goal! Jason Ugrinich, I reckon it is, who scored it. As we saw, the long ball from Wells came in off the head of Fabrizio, went a long way up, and Ugrinich got himself right where it landed, puts it into the back of the net. And Belconnen United, as happened last time these sides met, have taken the lead with the first goal. Took them a bit less time this time around. Took them 54 minutes last time. This time it's a goal in what we will call the 37th. Mentioned in the early stages of the game that Jason Ugrinich was a man who was a dangerous player for the Belconnen United side. And as it turns out, he has proven so once again with his 20th goal of the season. Now, does this change the complexion of this game? Knowing how potent the Canberra Olympic attack is, right now I don't think we're going to see much of a change, but it may just lift the spirits of this Belconnen United side. But they do know, as we see the long ball come through, Grabretza rather, clears it away from in front of Dominici. We've definitely seen a step up in pace now from the side that finished the top of the table with a 15-2-1 drawn loss record for the course of the season. Definitely picking up the speed. Now, Canberra Olympic in response to that goal from Belconnen United. What United can't afford to do is to park the bus. They just can't say, well, we've got the goal. That'll get us into the grand final. Let's just put everyone behind it, because that will not work against a side like Canberra Olympic. They've got too many options, too much versatility in this side. You've got guys like Habtemariam, who've scored half a dozen goals this year. Katanak, Galevsky, potentially dangerous, as well as Stephen Dominici. There's plenty of options out there. Durack sends the ball long down the other end of the field. Off the head of Rene, in for a throw-in. Was that the first free kick that Belconnen United had in attacking territory? I think it might have been, actually. I'm just trying to think. I reckon it was. Yeah, flattened there was Cole Bataldo. Referee says nothing in it. Ball goes into the square. Shot comes from Fabrizio. Good save, though, from Constantinou. Can they rebound quickly? They've got the numbers on this side of the park, and they take advantage of them. Galevsky still going. Habtemariam now. Back to Galevsky. Puts it forward. Cole Bataldo's recovered from that bump. Sends it back to Katanak. Rene, McLaughlin. Cole Bataldo across field to McCaw. He's got Dominici in the middle. Galevsky went for the clever little back heel. Didn't work. Turned it over. Fabrizio. Nothing in that. Fair play. Went down. Now it's beaten. That's Wells now. Dustin Wells. Handed it off to Fabrizio. Fabrizio and some of the fans up at the other end calling for the free kick. Referee not terribly keen to oblige. Yeah, Cameron Reinhardt not looking terribly thrilled. He's got the throw in, but I think he would have much rather seen the free kick further downfield. Goes for the throw up the line, off the head of McCaw, back to Reinhardt. Galevsky and Cole Bataldo for Olympic. Outside again to Golevsky, still going, 3-on-1. If it's 3-on-1, it means there's someone in space. That man in space is Habtemariam. And back to Katanak. Katanak loses some ground, but sort of keeps control of the ball, but finally dispossessed by Ugrinich. Over the far side of the ground once again, but it's rebounded for Habtemariam. Habtemariam can't do anything. Referee and assistant referee say it's gone out over the sideline. A bit hard for me to pick from here. They say it's gone out over the sideline, and it'll be a throw for Canberra Olympic. What have we got? 3 minutes and change plus injury time left in this first half. Colbertaldo. Habtemariam, or is that Rene? It's Rene. He's taller than Habtemariam. Habtemariam's just on this side of the ground at this stage. Taking their time to get it out this time. Belconnen United side. Target was Fabrizio. It was just a little bit over his head. Magic. Golevsky into the path of Dominici. Dominici turns around through 180 in the square. Oh, nicely done. There's the problem. I mentioned Katanak as a potentially dangerous option for them before. And while all the focus was on Dominici and his turn through 180, it allowed Katanak to get into just a little bit of space. And with half-time but 2 minutes away, Robert Katanak levels the ledger. So it's back to square one. All level here at Deakin. What else can you say? That was opportunistic, sure. Robert Katanak won't be handing it back. His 6th goal for the season. Corner. The player's gone to ground in there for Belconnen United. Still bouncing around. Long range shot by Beaton. And after that one bounces around, another crank comes up over the goal, over the crossbar. So a minute plus change remaining now before the break. And the mood swings of these games between Belconnen United and Canberra Olympic, well, they just continue. United know they can score now. The problem is they've got to do it again. Rene over the far side for Olympic. Manages the old trick and gets it off an attacker over the line. So the goal kick comes from Constantini. Now this is interesting. They've gone the short play instead through Megic. Now on to Golevsky. Loses possession. Reinhardt, it'll be 1-on-1 here if he can get to it. He chips it. He puts it just to the left and might have taken a hand off the keeper. It has taken a hand off the keeper, so that's a good save from Constantini. 1-on-1 football. Reinhardt versus Constantini. Reinhardt has scored a grand total of 1 goal this season. He nearly doubled his tally. He's been in everything for Belconnen United in this first half. He's a real workhorse for them. In all honesty, probably deserved the goal, but at the same time, Constantino deserved to make the save. Reinhardt again. Sends it back to Wells. Wells puts it in towards the goal. Keeper dives on it. And then sends the drop kick up the middle of the ground. There's nobody there as a target for him, so it'll be heading back in their direction. Now it's Beaton. Beaton's still going. Puts the ball through. Request for offside for Wells, but denied. Ball gets through to the keeper. Reinhardt, good trap right on the halfway line. Ball back into the middle. It's Mikevsky and Wells getting together. They can't control it. Oh, Golevsky dangerous if he could have got onto that, but it just went away. Parachute coming in on the other side of the ground. You're landing on the fields over by the Mint, I'm guessing. There you go. You never know what you're going to see at a sports ground. I assume he's landed safely. There's another one coming down as well now. We're into injury time. With 1-1. Bit of a wrestle going on. Another bit of a wrestle. Athletic attempt from Beaton. Draws the free kick. Now, I haven't seen any indication as to how much injury time there will be. Bear in mind we did have Nick Bobolas down for a good 2 minutes before he was subbed off, so be considerable injury time. Long ball up the middle. Fabrizio was the target. Bounces off him. Wells, left foot shot. Starts outside, goes further outside. The other parachutist landed safely, by the way, if you're wondering. I don't think there's a third one. Certainly not that I'm aware of. Olympic on the charge again. Reinhardt, Beaton. Ball falls to Katanak. Katanak to Dominici. Dominici to Colbertaldo. McLaughlin was the next target, but it's repelled once again by a defender. Greenwich, the only real option for Belconnen United at the moment. Now he's up forward. He's going to try and get a fast throw in here. Races down the line, picks it up out of the corner. Who's he got? Nobody. He's got Wells. It's 5-on-1 in the penalty box. Ball comes back out over the sideline. Oh no, he's called an offside. There we go. So it'll be Canberra Olympic with the ball, and they are in no hurry. Rene sends it out from deep in his own territory. United have got this back. Wells again. This goes for the long ball. Cleared away by Yarnold as the referee gives a couple of short blasts on the whistle. And we end the first half here with 1 goal apiece in the books. It was Belconnen United who took the early advantage. Well, I say early advantage, they took the first advantage. Scoring after the 37th minute, Jason Ugrinic it was who put the ball in the back of the net after a towering up and under header from Daniel Fabrizio off a Dustin Wells free kick. And then Olympic replied through Robert Katanak in the 43rd minute, so just 6 minutes later, after Stephen Dominici had done a lot of work in the goal square, had drawn a couple of extra defenders, turned through 180 degrees and found Katanak waiting, and he just sent it home hard into the back of the net. 1-1 the score here. The winner goes through to the Capital Football Grand Final in 2 weeks' time. The loser today does live to fight another day. They'll take on Gungahlin United or Canberra FC next weekend. But as we take the break here on Bar TV, it is Canberra Olympic 1, Belconnen United 1. The second half about to get underway at Deakin in this first semi-final in the Capital Football PS4 National Premier Leagues clash between Canberra Olympic and Belconnen United. If you're just joining us, it is one apiece. Slightly scrappy affair for maybe the first 30 minutes, but that's sort of to be expected when you have a side like Belconnen United who do tend to play a lot of the long ball up against a side like Canberra Olympic which has a very stout, fastidious, you could say, defence. It's always going to wind up with scrappy stuff. Canberra Olympic lost Nick Bobolis just short of the half-hour mark. I suspect Bobolis has twisted an ankle. I think he may have stepped on the ball as it came down underneath him in a contest. A goal to Jason Ugrinich gave Belconnen United the lead at the 37-minute mark. It took 6 minutes for Canberra Olympic to respond, and they did so via Robert Katanak, not via the much more anticipated route of Stephen Dominici. So that's brought us to where we are today. A reminder of what's at stake here. The winner in this game goes straight through to the Capital Football Grand Final. The loser plays next week against either Gungahlin or Canberra FC, who will play a knockout affair tomorrow just down the road at Woden. And it's Canberra United, Belconnen United, I should say, on the first attack, but cleared away straight away by Bernard Rene. Dominici tries to assert some ownership on the ball. Gee, he's great to watch. He's there now in a 2-on-1 situation. He's still a chance of getting it further in towards goal. Comes back to Cole Bataldo. Onto Katanak before it's cleared away. Fabrizio on the end of that clearance for Belconnen United. Does well to get ahead to it as he bends almost double at the waist. Still going. He's got nobody there. He's still taken into the square. Puts it to the feet of the keeper and Constantinou. Effective. Sends the ball across the goal line. For the next 20 minutes or so, we are going to be dealing with a great deal of sunshine at this end of the ground. Apologies if it is having any impact on the picture you're watching with us on Bar TV. Alas, there is not a great deal we can do about the force of nature that is a massive ball of fire some 93 million miles away when it shines directly into our cameras, but I'll do my best to keep you posted as the initial cross from the corner bounced back out to the foot of Wells, and Wells having a shot on a very acute angle. His shot not able to get near the goal, and so the goal kick will be taken by Constantinou. Gives it to Yarnold, back to Constantinou. Ugrinich was closing in quickly. They try the other side of the ground now to Olympic. Megic, long ball to Makor. Makor turns around, back to Cole Bataldo. Cole Bataldo headed to himself. Now McLaughlin can't reach it. Back to McLaughlin. Cole Bataldo can't chase. Suddenly it's with Ugrinich. 3-on-1. Puts the ball out wide. Now who's he got? I think it wasn't beaten. I'm just trying to pick up who it was. Momentarily dazzled by the sun. It was Nick Dahl, I think it was, on the attack. I don't think we've seen any changes in the half-time break in terms of playing personnel. Constantinou taking his time to get the goal kick away. Looking for McLaughlin. It clears him. Also clears Dominici in the end. Clears everybody. Winds up going out over the sideline, and it'll be a throw-in for Belconnen United. Neither of these sides strangers to putting plenty of goals into the net. Canberra Olympic have done it far better during the course of the season, finishing with a 44 positive goal difference. Belconnen United, though, in an 18-game season, not doing too badly. Goal difference of 31. 11 wins, 1 draw and 6 losses. compared to 15-2-1 for the Olympic side. Finn Durack in that fluorescent Dayglow yellow goalkeeping kit. Absolutely shining like a beacon as the sun gets lower and lower in the sky here. It'll dazzle the opposition, potentially. Now, ball comes out wide for Greenwich. Dispossessed, turns around, gets it back. Who's he got? There's a couple of players in there. Dahl gets a bit of... got Dahl. As Mikowski got a push in the back, and then Dahl was the man who was in there. So we see Reinhardt coming into play for United. But again, nothing comes of it. Maybury, last line of defence, able to leave it. And Durack can just wait for a moment or two. Puts the ball up to the edge of the penalty box. Dominici was starting to lurk closely in there. I'm not sure if he got into shot or not. It's a throw-in for the Belconnen United side. Well, could have been the target, so could Dahl. Ends up bouncing around to Beaton. Beaton puts the ball up to the top of the square. It's the rebound now from Olympic. This is Habtemariam. Habtemariam looking for Dominici, but again cut off. Now Reinhardt not doing exactly what he should have with that. Was trying to get it to Beaton. Beaton eventually gets there. Back to the keeper, but they've had to rush that a little bit more than they've wanted to, and I think that pressure in the end that was coming from a couple of advancing Olympic players results in Fabrizio not being able to control the ball, and it goes out over the sideline. Throw in for Olympic. 6 gone in the second half, still 1 apiece. Habtemariam in the middle of the park. Comes out wider. Was Golevsky. Back to Habtemariam. But the United defence strong once again. Clever little play from Greenwich. Kicked it into Rene. Out over the sideline. So it's a throw in for United. And taking a few metres up that sideline too. Just quietly. A couple of liberties being taken. Wells and Yarnold shoulder to shoulder. Referee's just having a quiet word to Yarnold there, saying that's about as far as you'd really want to take that. Wells happy to have drawn the free kick, puts himself up to the top of the square. So who's going to take this? Well, looks like Greenwich. He's got Wells, Fabrizio, and I think it's Maybury up at the top of the goal square. Where does it go? Off heads. And just over the top of the bar. Was well covered by Constantinu. No chance of a goal. Constantinu returns the ball to the field of play. Megic. Long ball. That will continue to roll. And roll. And roll. Interestingly, Durack decides to come over and retrieve it. Takes the opportunity to cross the park. Go over to Grabretza. Now Reinhardt. He really has been very busy today. Back header from Habtemariam. Bounces around. Ball finally hits the ground. Greenwich sends it forward. Wells had to wait, and that meant Olympic were able to get men back. And they did so quite nicely. Now Colbertaldo. Crossfield to Megic. Comes back to that man now. And it's Maycourt. Maycourt to McLaughlin. Just too far ahead of him to make it count. Ball goes out over the end of the field. Maybe it's just been touched by a United player in there. McLaughlin's setting up for a corner, so must have been. The Olympics start to flood down the ground. Haven't seen too many corners for Canberra Olympic today. I think Belconnen United probably had more. They don't have an official stats count here. Just a gut feel. So McLaughlin with the corner. Who's on the end of it? Target was Yarnold. Ball's back on the ground. Now a clearance. They're keeping it in play. Fabrizio, he's run a long way. He's still going. Gets around one. Gets around another. It's a one-on-one now as he gets a bit of a shove in the back there from Cole Bataldo. Belconnen United fans calling for a penalty. Referee not agreeing to it. One of those ones that could have gone either way. Certainly seemed that Cole Bataldo did have a bit of a push. Maybury still going. Ball comes out over the sideline, so the attack will continue from United. Maybury with the throw. Right down into the corner. Rene sends it over the sideline. So it's a throw in from now. Probably about 12, 13 yards in from the corner. Difficult place to play from for the attacking team at the moment because of that sun being so low in the sky. Reinhardt to Beaton. Beaton still going. Beaton won't be beaten, in fact. Gives it to Dahl. Cut off by Galevsky. Back to Dahl. Dahl keeps his feet. Now Maybury. Ball comes out over the sideline. Throw in for Belconnen United. It'll be Maybury with it. Gets it back. Bounces off one, bounces off a second. There's a whistle, free kick. So Belconnen United, well, they're throwing everything at Canberra Olympic at the moment. They've lost two of these games between these sides in... so they've lost both the games between these sides during the course of the season, and I think they've had the lead in both previous encounters. Greenwich getting himself set here. It'll be the long ball. Who's the target? Fabrizio's there. Reinhardt's there. There's a gang of five waiting. Goes to the far post and continues to go past the far post and out over the goal line. 11 minutes gone, still 1-1 in the second half. Certainly United having more of the possession and doing more of the attacking in this second stanza. As they go further into attack again through Greenwich, Dahl. That's Beaton. Out wide for Fabrizio. Greenwich at the top of the square. Megic gets there first. Now Maycourt. Reinhardt for the United side. Very hard for me to pick up who that is at the moment just due to the sunlight. I think it might have been Fabrizio. It was. The sun's almost coming straight into my eyes from that part of the ground now. And again, as I said, hopefully not having too much of an impact on what you're seeing on Bar TV. Good news is it'll be gone in about 15 minutes. On the attack, long range shot from Wells. It hits the post. Had the keeper beaten. Opportunistic shot. Fabrizio. Reinhardt coming charging into the penalty box. Gets around Megic. The ball goes out over the goal line. Well, that was definitely a chance that came from almost nothing. Wells gave it everything. Gave it the full welly. Another 2 inches to the right and it would have been a goal. He's got half a dozen to his name this season. That one would have been probably the one he enjoyed the most. Cole Bataldo now with a cross from Olympic. Puts the ball over to Maycourt. Now to McLaughlin. McLaughlin looking for Dominici but can't get there. Ball is cleared by a defender. Goes out over the sideline and it'll be a throw in for Canberra Olympic. Got an instant call of offside or handball, one or the other. You may well have seen that better than I did. I'd made the mistake of just checking the scoreboard for the clock and got dazzled by the sun on the way back around. Free kick for Belconnen United, and it's Finn Durack. Takes the honours, puts them deep into attack. Probably sends the ball far too deep. It was, as it winds up at the feet of Constantinou. Clearing kick, not a great one. Cole Bataldo goes around in a full circle, keeps possession, so having one after the game for that. Now crossfield to Galevsky. Galevsky still going. Looks across, Jinx on the inside, still has possession. Puts it to the feet of Katanak. Katanak with the high ball. Keeper comes out and grabs it. Durack then throws it into the path of Ugrinich. Ugrinich up over the halfway line, still going. As the ball goes out over the sideline, and it'll be a Canberra Olympic throw. As we reach the 15-minute mark of the second period, it's still 1-1. And we could get extra time here today. We could see it in the youth game earlier. Reinhardt with a clearance to Fabrizio. Has Wells on his inside. Doesn't spot him, keeps going, does Fabrizio. That's a good ball. It might be to Beaton in front of Ugrinich. But Olympic gets several back in defence. Arnold is in the end who takes control of the situation and sends the ball long upfield. We're seeing a lot of long ball from both sides today. Have to marry him. This is the ball. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders at home for Belconnen United. Now it's across to Ugrinich. It's 1-on-1. Ugrinich versus Rene. Rene holds back. Ugrinich puts the ball forward. Finds Maybury. Maybury to the feet of Beaton. Beaton puts the low ball in. That's well taken by Constantinou. Good chance, good defence. This has come off the head of the defender. Isaac Clements. Almost into the path of Dominici. Dominici was charging after it, but got away from him. So instead it's a corner. McLaughlin way over in the far reaches of Deakin Oval. We'll take the corner. Who's up there? Dominici, Galevsky, Rene and Megic. And in the end cleared away by the defensive efforts of Jason Ugrinich. Only as far as have to marry him. Olympic take their time to get a little bit settled. Rene back to Megic. He's crossed sides. Seen him playing largely on the right. He's over on the left wing. Long throw cut off by United. Beaton, the man trying to get onto it. Can't control. Now it's with Katanak. He's got one today. Hurried clearance from United. Dustin Wells sends it out over the sideline. Might have managed to clip the opposition. I can't tell because I've got the dugout in the way here, but it's a throw in for the side in the powder blue. Ball in contest in the centre of the park. Rebeza it was who put it forward. Now we've got an offside call. Referee and the linesman just having a chat, or referee and assistant referee having a chat. So it'll be Rene to take the free. Again, deep in his own attacking half, defending half I should say. Rene sends a long ball forward. This is around. Katanak was going to have an opportunity to use it, but the referee's found a bit of push and shove, so ball winds up being cleared away by Beaton. Fabrizio, if he can get around in front, has a couple of players on his inside. He's got the ball, needs to turn around. Does so, but loses it. Winds up to Cole Bataldo. Then on to have to marry him. Now it's with Beaton again. You turn around and Beaton gets a third chance at it. Now it's Reinhardt. Fabrizio way over in the far corner. Has Reinhardt in front of the goal. Can't find him. Ball rebounds for Canberra Olympic once again. They charge back upfield. This will be an interesting little confrontation coming up there between Durack and Ugrinich. Durack getting the kick away quickly enough to get away from Dominici. Now, long ball referee and linesman say, no, that's on offside. Happened almost directly in front of where I'm sitting, and I'm inclined to agree. So 20 minutes gone. We've seen no addition to the halftime score. 1-1. Conditions will start to change here shortly as the sun goes down. Got a fairly heavy fog in some parts of Canberra. Not sure if it was over on this side of town. Certainly was where I live this morning, so there's a bit of moisture around. We may just see a bit of dew. I can see Victor Yanes warming up for Canberra Olympic in front of their dugout at the moment. He's still got the red singlet on, but I can see him warming up. He's being given some instructions, so I suspect he's not far away from coming on. Indeed, he's taking the red vest off, and he will be replacing McLaughlin. Well, that's interesting. So we'll call that 65 minutes. Victor Yanes comes on to replace Tom McLaughlin. So that's two substitutions down for Canberra Olympic. Belconnen United yet to resort to the bench. Corner kick taken. Headed away by Fabrizio, only as far as have to marry him. Have to marry him, puts it low ball, hard hit. Might have taken a deflection in there, but it's gone wide. Has taken a deflection off a defender. They're the moments that a coach has his heart in his mouth, and the keeper, Finn Durack, had got himself positioned well, but once the ball takes the deflection, oh, geez, what can you do? You just sit there and you pray. So corner from the near side. Goes across. All the way across. Maybe in touch by Maybury. Long throw comes in from the far side for Olympic, so that's their third time into the goal square. Wild hack at it from Katanak from outside the box. Now Katanak gets a second shot on the rebound. It bounces back. Durack was already diving for that. Defence getting in the way of it. Now Fabrizio on the fast break for United. Brought down after he's offloaded it. Nothing in it. Maycor. It's a little back towards Constantinou. There we go. There's a couple of minutes making it worth the price of admission alone this afternoon. So we've got Maybury up against Galevsky. Maybury does better. Ugrinich trying to put it into the path of Beaton, but a little bit too far. Now it's back to Ugrinich. Yanes, his first touch is a little push on to Megic. Megic with the long ball. And he gets it as far as Maybury. Maybury, long ball, but again, no recipient in the path. Have to marry him. Looking for the centre, but can't get anywhere with it. There's too many defenders. Two players fly, both with only eyes for the ball. And going down is Cole Bataldo. I think he'll be okay. He's just, for mine, would be winded. Not sure if it wasn't Reinhardt. Who was it? I'm not entirely sure who went up with him. Maybe Beaton. I don't think it was Wells. Anyway, he's up now, so Cole Bataldo appearing okay. As United sent the ball out over the sideline, and as the tradition dictates, they then give the ball back to Olympic, who they'll work it around through Durack. Durack with the long ball. Rene and Yarnold. Yarnold with the back pass. beaten. Wells the target. Offside was Greenwich. Flag had gone up fairly late. As you can see, the ground almost completely covered in shade now. The sun will be less of a factor shortly. Let's hope that someone's remembered to go and turn the lights on, because I can see three light towers, and there's none of them illuminated at this stage. The only man we'll be able to see out there will be Finn Durack in his fluorescent safety yellow. The goalkeeper. Now we've got another change coming up. So this is number 18. That's Harry Williams coming on. So we'll call that 69 minutes. And who's he replacing? Is it Cameron Reinhardt coming off? I think it is. He's had a good day. He's had a very, very busy day. As Cameron Reinhardt gets a handshake from one of his clubmates. I'm pretty sure it's him coming off. It was, by my reckoning, the only bloke out there in orange boots for the Belconnen United side, replaced by Harry Williams, who is wearing orange boots. So there you go. So we're into the last 20 minutes, plus injury time, plus extra time if we need it. And now they're on the attack again, the United. Dustin Wells was a little bit slower than he should have been there. Dispossessed. Rene. Almost with a sand wedge shot, but he finds Dominici. Dominici with the cross. Havdamarian was ready for it, but so was the keeper. Ball goes out over the sideline. It'll be a throw into Canberra Olympic for Mine Olympic, just starting to look that little bit more composed. Belconnen United, they look like a side that's just starting to panic and rush a little bit. Fabrizio now on his own, puts it into the path of Colbertaldo. Colbertaldo to Megic. Now it's Makor. Makor a bit of help to get to the ground. Well, as the sun sinks 95% below the horizon, the lights have been switched on. So working them with maximum efficiency in terms of electricity bill would be my guess here this afternoon, but it's not taking too long to warm up, so we're not far away from getting full illumination. Rene, long ball, finds Katanak. Katanak looking for somebody. In the end, it just winds up with Maybury from United. Let's have to marry him again. Colbertaldo. Well, bounces back off a defender from United. Taylor Beaton was the target then, but he couldn't get anywhere near it. Colbertaldo. Katanak. Now it's Galevsky. Looks it up for himself, turns around, kicks it into his opponent a second time. Not quite sure what the tactic was. He's given away the free kick. Belconnen United on the way through Wells. No, referee wants it to come back, so it'll be Beaton to take the kick again. In fact, it won't be Beaton, it'll be Williams coming up in the end. It's amazing, the sun goes below the horizon and instantly it feels like it's dropped by about 7 degrees here. Fabrizio on his own, still going. Bit of a challenge on the edge of the area. Referee says it's a free kick. Inches in it, and I think he's diving into the pocket as well for a yellow. Is indeed. It's very hard for us to be sure who's got the yellow there. It may well have been Nathan Megic. It's a bit hard for us to be certain because they don't do it with a great flourish in the capital football competition. But now a free kick. These are the ones that, as I said before, these ones, I reckon these are a little bit easier to defend than maybe if it was 4 or 5 yards further back. You've got your set plays. The wall being formed just outside the 6-yard box. 1, 2, 3, 4 in that wall. One behind. Interestingly, there's nobody from Belconnen United in that wall. Wells, high and wide. core there for Canberra Olympic. Up the sideline, and now it'll be Belconnen United with a throw-in. Clock says 15 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, plus a little bit of time on. What we've learned from these sides is that goals come late in these games. Now, is this substitution, or is this... Oh, he needs a new pair of shorts. And nice to see his teammates for Matthew Grabeza being so helpful there. No one actually getting up and walking the shorts out to him. They've just thrown a pair in his general direction. He's changed them. He's back on. Plays back on as well. Yanes for Olympic with the cross to Yarnold. Oh, a little bit of poor communication. Rene gives it back to Yarnold. Canberra United could have really, or Belconnen United rather, could have really made hay while the sun shone there. Weren't quick enough to realise that things had gone awry. Cabreza, beaten. Through ball, too far for Ugrinich. And Ugrinich didn't look terribly happy. They go back to Rene. He can't give it to the keeper. It's a long ball. Dominici charging after it. Comes across though. Defenders well set. It came from Gabresa, but Ugrinich was the man who was the target, but he got himself into an offside position. So Yanes sends the ball back up the left. Have to marry him. Colbertaldo. Dominici sends it out wide. Is that Yarnold over there? No, who's that? Who's put that in? Galevsky. Galevsky came from nowhere. Absolutely came from nowhere to put that one in. We've seen Belconnen United to their peril on a couple of occasions give just a little bit too much attention to Dominici, and I suspect you can say that again. I just did not see Galevsky. I don't know where he came from. But in the 77th minute, he's put it in the back of the net, and now it's a 2-1 scoreline to Canberra Olympic. And now all sorts of pressure applied on Belconnen United, who, if they're going to make the grand final, are going to have to do it the long way around. They're either going to have to come from behind here, or they're going to have to win a game next week. They push up into the attack. Header from Fabrizio, and he goes as far as his own feet. Rushed clearance. There's a grand total of 2 men in the other side of that halfway line. Make it 1 now as the ball comes back into the attacking half of Belconnen United. They're throwing everything forward. It's really what they've got to do at this point. They've got to find chances. They've got to create chances. Maybury, and have to marry him in contest. Ugrinich. Stomped on by Dominici the ball, and Dominici sends it back to Rene. Rene, long ball into attacking territory again. Olympic have certainly dropped their defenders back. They know they're going to hang on for 12 or 13 minutes. Durack sends it up forward. There's a bit of a hold in there. Steve Ugrinich. Yeah, Steve Ugrinich was held, and Bernard Rene gets the yellow card. I don't think he'll care too much. It's his first yellow card for the season, in fact, Bernard Rene. But it's a free kick to Jason Ugrinich. Ugrinich scored the first one earlier today. Well, if Ugrinich can give this sufficient power and curve, he's got a fairly easy goal here, because he's managed to get Everyone else set up on the far side. He comes in, puts it on the far post. Call for handball. I think both teams calling for handball in there. Referee having nothing of it. Clearance comes away. Off the head of Williams. Now it's Habtemariam. Jeremy Habtemariam still going. Still going, gets in towards the top of the box. Cole Pateldo was in there as well. Oh, suddenly it's on. Every side, every player rather, giving their everything as we approach the last 10 minutes of this one. 2-1 to Olympic over Belconnen United. Long ball. Ball goes into, I don't know if that actually travelled more than about 4 feet in the field of play. It was a terribly directed pass. It was well and truly over. The assistant referee didn't even raise the flag for offside. I reckon there were 2 Belconnen United players offside in that position as well, so that gives you an idea as to how early it had gone out over the far side. Ball still just in the field of play over there. Now Belconnen have got a chance here. Ball comes from Wells. Fabrizio into the area, gets himself set, turns around onto his left foot, onto his left, puts it into the path of Dahl. Dahl can't convert. Rebound. Olympic have just decided to turn the defence up to 11 for the time being. And Belconnen United throwing everything at it. Taylor Beaton loses his footing, gets himself back up. Little header from Mikevsky. Haven't seen much of him lately. Beaton goes to ground, keeps possession of the ball for his side. Through Dahl. Up to Wells, onto Fabrizio. Fabrizio can't control it, it's out for a throw in. 9 minutes left on the clock. Olympic in no hurry to take the throw. They know that they're not the side that have to do anything special now. Dominici. Worth mentioning once again, Dominici in the 2 previous encounters between these sides has scored 5 goals, so understandable why Belconnen United had really paid extra attention to him. In my book, you can say that both goals for Olympic come down to that extra attention, freeing up other attacking options for Canberra Olympic. Through Robert Katanek in the first half and Joshua Galevsky about 5 minutes ago. Olympic on the attack again. Jeremy Habtemariam was offside. Down into the last 8 minutes. Taylor Beaton will take the free kick. Who's he got? He's got Ugrinich on this side. On the far side, he's got Wells. Wells gets into a tangle of bodies. It's not Wells, actually. It's Mikevsky. It's been Wells in that position all day. So Mikevsky pushing further forward now. Wells was further towards the centre. That's still Mikevsky going. Through ball. Dominici, I thought, was the target. Cross comes to him. Dominici gets around the keeper. Put down the glasses. Oh, jeez. Inches in it. Inches in it. Maybe gave it just a little bit too much welly to get past the keeper. Robbed himself of one. That would have been almost certainly the end of the game for Belconnen United. We need to fight another, well, at this stage, 6 minutes and 45 seconds. We've got a substitution. That's Leo Matzis comes on in the 83rd minute. Didn't see who came off there. We'll worry about that a bit later on. What was the target? Couldn't get it. Beaten off the head. Oh, he's put it into the path of Dominici. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Dominici stops. Jinx left, Jinx right. loses control of it. The ball goes away. Belconnen United need to do something. Fabrizio. He's the target. Ball is cleared away once again by Constantinou. I suspect it might be Makewski who's come off. I can't see him out there. Immaterial at the moment as Canberra Olympic just calming things down a little bit. Yanes hanging onto the possession, gave it off to Habtemariam. Habtemariam in quite a struggle with his opposite number in Maybury. A few of the Belconnen United fans getting a little bit vocal. Rene sends the towering ball downfield and the referee has found a whistle. Given a call to, he's received a call from the side where we now say Jordan Sekenis coming on in the 85th minute. He's replacing Joshua Golevsky, so Golevsky has a reward for his earlier goal. Gets the early shower. 4 minutes remaining plus any injury time. I can't imagine there'll be a lot of that. Unless, of course, Belconnen United find a way to put one into the back of the net. In that 4-3 game between these sides earlier in the season, there were 2 goals scored in injury time, so certainly nothing beyond the realms of possibility when these two sides come together. Clearance from defence from Canberra Olympic gets the ball back out about 30 yards from the goal line. But it is with United at the moment. Fabrizio again showing some speed, showing some pace, gets into the penalty box, he's brought down, and the referee points to the spot. Does he? No. Had the hand up. Has he pointed to the spot? He has pointed to the spot. The hand came up. The hand went down very, very quickly. Well, absolutely no pressure here, is there? I've never seen a referee give a penalty with a gesture so quick. I actually had to check myself to see whether he'd given it. Hand came up, hand went down very, very quickly. So Jason Ugrinich to keep his side alive in today's game. Not sure whether you can pick it up in the background, but there's less than 3 minutes remaining in this. Ugrinich versus Constantinou. Ugrinich has 1 for the day. He has 21 for the season. And he puts it in the back of the net, makes no mistake, and we're all tied up. In all probability, we're going to extras. Well, earlier in the season, it was a penalty in about the 85th minute to Stephen Dominici for Canberra Olympic that gave them a victory. Jason Ugrinich gets one from the spot today to complete his brace for the afternoon and keep his side in the race for the first berth in the Capital Football Grand Final. Exactly 100 seconds left, plus time on. Does anyone blink in these late stages? Long ball. Olympic send it back into their own defensive area. Rene. Dominici, Colbertaldo. Out wide to Dominici. Back to Habtemariam. Colbertaldo. Finds Yanes. Yanes can't control it. Back into attack. We're into the last minute of the game right now. plus injury time. Olympic with Katanak. Support out wide. Ball comes back inside. The Sky Blue Hordes charging back to defend and prevent the goal. 45 seconds remaining. Cross comes in. Easily handled by Durack. Finn Durack knows that if a goal's scored here, it will be the decider. So he continues play quickly. But the attack cut short by Bernard Rene. Comes out wide. Rene again. Ball rebounds off a defender. Out over the sideline. 15 seconds remaining plus injury time. Ball goes out. Throw in for Olympic. It's at the feet of Dominici, probably the most dangerous man in those quarters to have the ball near him. Rene puts the high ball in. Keeper flies, takes the grab, and we're into injury time. The great lottery of sport now. We don't know how much time there is left. Comes out through Makor. That's with Olympic one more time. Williams was brought down. Gets back up again. Fabrizio switching sides, I think it might have been. He was looking for Ugrinich. Ball goes away. Maybury with the throw in. Habtemariam goes down, gets the free kick. Can't be much time left now. I can see at least one Olympic player struggling with cramp. Belconnen United have dropped everyone back into their own defensive half. They know it's nearly done for the regulation time. Yanes. Habtemariam back to Yanes. Ball goes out wide to Habtemariam again. He still has it. Still going. Katanak now. Looking for Dominici. Falls short for him. Yanes shoots. Ineffective. Picked up off the turf by Durack. Durack. The long ball. It finds nobody. Ugrinich was potentially offside. Gets himself back onside now. Bernard Rene's gone down. He's back up. He was down behind play. I didn't see what had caused that. Habtemariam. Now Colbertaldo. Over the far side to Makor. Makor still going. Up to the corner of the square. Offloads with a little jinky pass. Habtemariam. Katanak. Katanak. Dispossessed. Great defence. Ugrinich. Fabrizio again. Oh, the game ebbing and flowing here deep into injury time. There can't be more than a few seconds left. Mazes and Williams combine. But again, the defence from Olympic is too good. Colbertaldo. Still going. Still going. Turns around again. Puts it out wide. I suspect there's time maybe for one more shot. They lose control of it there. Through Habtemariam. And it's with Finn Durack. He has to go for the long ball now. Fabrizio has Ugrinich in front of him. There's nobody down the wing. The ball trickles out over the sideline. Referee still has not looked at his watch. At least not that I've been able to pick up. Durack again. Again sends it downfield. Rene just boots it clear. He's had enough. He's going to make sure that they can't score, because you can't score when the ball's not in the field of play. Maybury again. Long ball looking for Fabrizio down the line. Greenwich gives it to Makevsky. Back to Fabrizio. Fabrizio, we've seen him play largely down the left today. Now playing to the right. It's come. Oh, he's not happy with the decision. And the referee says all immaterial, gives 3 blasts on the whistle. And after a game that was deadlocked at 1-1 at half-time, it goes to 2-2 at full-time. And we go to extra time. So there won't be a lot of discussion going on here about what goes on. Bottle comes out. Another bottle comes out. Belconnen United still very slowly back to their huddle. There's a bit of push and shove going on here. Greenwich and Megic just having a bit of a conversation with each other. What we're going to try and do is work out who came off for Leo Mazes to come on in the number 14 jersey. We didn't get any boards held up. We don't get any boards held up here. We just, or if we do, they're held up behind the dugout and I can't see them. So we'll just take a very short break while things get set up for extra time. 30 minutes more football, free football, bonus football here at Deakin Oval. 2-2 between Canberra Olympic and Belconnen United on Bar TV. Well, quite literally entering the twilight zone here. I'm not sure if Leon's got time to do a quick pan around. The panorama here is absolutely beautiful, Leon, our cameraman this afternoon. Just as the last vestiges of daylight disappear, the floodlights taking effect at Deakin Oval. And not just the twilight zone in terms of the time of the day, but the twilight zone being extra time where almost anything can happen. So Canberra Olympic have the first possession. Megic. They're continuing to go to the left of your screen, Olympic, as they were in the second half. Rene, I'm just casting an eye across to see if there's been any substitutions during that break. I don't think Olympic have got any left. They've used 3, so I certainly can't see any additional changes for Belconnen United either at this stage. Well, having said that, if a name suddenly pops up that you haven't heard before, all will become clear. How do you play this? Seriously, how do you play this? You don't want to give up the goal, but you've really got to make the most of what you can. Olympic on the attack through Dominici. Not Dominici, Colbertaldo. And they get the free kick in there. There was a bit of body contact. Colbertaldo went close to losing his balance. Referee's made up his mind. A couple of the Belconnen United players have wandered on in to have a conversation with the man in yellow. To no avail. So he's marked out his preferred spot for the wall. There's 3 United defenders in the wall. It's Katanak with the shot over to the far post. And in the end, there was nobody on the end to help redirect it. So that's 2 minutes gone. I don't know about you, but I always find that when a game goes to extra time, it suddenly seems as though time just flies. I'm sure for the players it doesn't necessarily feel like that, because there would be some very heavy legs out there, some very tired bodies. Bear in mind we're at the tail end of a season that's been very long for both these clubs, particularly long for Canberra Olympic. Only a few weeks ago we're playing an FFA Cup game on the other side of the country. So how much fitness have you got at this stage of the season? Katanak, still going Katanak. The ball into the path of Dominici, but the keeper's down for it. Durack takes care of it. So it's been all Canberra Olympic in the first 3 minutes of extra time. Fabrizio gets a little touch to his own advantage. Still going, he's in the square. Ugrinic came in to try and capitalise, but Rene took it away, put it up towards Abdamariam. Now it's with Zach Maybury. Maybe let the ball go over the sideline. I think he thought it had been touched by an Olympic player, but it hadn't. Olympic with the throw-in. Quick ball to the feet of Dominici. Dominici finds Colbertaldo. No, he doesn't. Ball cut off again. Over to Ugrinic. 3-on-1, 2-on-1, 1-on-1, and it's the last one standing, have to marry him, who gets away with it. Ball out over the sideline. Throw in for Olympic. Taken by Rene. Ball goes back out after a little bit of push and shove between 2 players. And we've achieved nothing in that last 10 seconds of play. Rene, long ball to have to marry him. Kicked away by Isaac Clements. Further throw in there. By the way, just clearing up a bit of homework from the regulation 90 minutes. It was Nicholas Dahl who was subbed off in the 83rd minute for Belconnen United and being replaced by Leo Matsis in jersey 14. It was Dustin Wells destined for that ball. Wells gets it, gives it to Ugrinic. Ugrinic, a little touch on it, but Yarnold also got a touch. So back to the keeper, Constantinou. clearing kick. Goes out just short of the halfway line. Certainly picking up the pace. Maybury to Ugrinich on the throw in. Again, towering clearance from Canberra Olympic. Now here's one of the fresh players. He's going to get a card there. Here's Leo Mazis for giving Daniel Colbertaldo a good old-fashioned shove. The other question about fitness and endurance in this game is how much impact is the fact that Canberra Olympic had to sub out Nick Bobolis in the first 30 minutes and bring on Bernard Rene. So by rights, they're probably the slightly more tired side, Olympic, but how much difference will it make? Well, 5 minutes gone in extra time. Deadlock still remains. Habtemariam onto Katanak. Katanak out wide. Sorry, that's Habtemariam. It was Rene before. Gee, they're similar when they're moving. When they're not moving, it's a lot easier to tell them apart. Long ball again. I just don't know about this kicking in hope that Belconnen United seem to be applying from Finn Durack at the moment. I really think they need to have a target. And if that means giving up a few yards to actually hit somebody, it may turn to their advantage. It was well read by Yanes. He's still going. He's got past 1, 2, 3, 4. He's shouldered off the ball by Clements. Didn't lose his balance, so the referee probably thought it was just fair body contact. Now, who's touched that last? Olympic have touched it last. Through Rene. So Mikevsky was going to throw it in. Changes his mind, gives it back to Maybury. Wrong ball off the chest of United attacker. Probably really could have done more with that. And I think it's been the story of the day for United. There's been so many things that they could have done more with. Olympic, I don't have stats, but just my gut feel is Olympic have had more chances. United have probably had more possession across the course of the day. Yanes once again. He's impressed me since he came on about 30 minutes ago. Oh, this is a good run from Beaton. Beaton goes for the long ball. Fabrizio running onto it at full tilt. He's trying to draw a penalty on about this spot a few minutes ago. Keeper did well, Constantinou, to become a roadblock. Ball goes out over the end of the field. It will be a corner kick for Belconnen United. How many do they bring up? Well, they've got the keeper back. We've got Maybury on the halfway line. We've got Grabeza on the halfway line. Everyone else is within 30 yards of the goal. So that's 8 men up. Ball comes in, bounces around. Clements is the man who touched it for mine. Came off somebody with a secondary touch. And it'll be a throw in adjacent to the corner post. How much have you got in your arm? Fabrizio. Back to Mikevsky. Mikevsky still going. Back to Beaton. Beaton out wide to Fabrizio again. Fabrizio, that's taken a deflection off Rene. Constantino juggles, puts it down for a second. No pressure on him. Picks it up, puts the throw over to the far side. Gives it to Megic. Megic has Makor in support. Instead goes further forward. And it's once again the United side. Gee, this ebbs and flows this extra time. We've got 9 minutes of it gone. Now Colbertaldo for Olympic. Unchallenged in the centre of the park. Out wide for Jeremy Habtemariam. He puts it, optimistically in the end into the path of Stephen Dominici. Dominici would have had to show the pace of Usain Bolt to get onto that. It's just way too far ahead for him. Fabrizio's been very, very busy for Belconnen United in the last 20 minutes. He was the target again. You see him up forward on the left. We've seen him up forward on the right and the left and the right. Now he's back over on the left. Katanak. That's to Yanes. Yanes takes a tumble. Referee says play on. United have it back for a second, but then cough it up and give it to Sekenis. Now, ball has gone challenged in the goal area, and the referee has decided that it was Habta Mariam who has taken the defender out. Or is it just outside the area? It's very hard to see the markings down there. Well, it's gone out for a corner, so that's what we've got. There's nobody in a rush over there. The ball's over in the corner. Everyone's gone up and got in position for the set play from Canberra Olympic. All well and good, except for one small problem. There was nobody there actually to take the corner kick. 15 seconds of extra time that has achieved nothing. Colbertaldo charges across to offer the opportunity of a short corner kick. Goes across the face of goal, continues across the face of goal, goes out over the far sideline, and it'll be a throw-in for Belconnen United. 4 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock in the first period of extra time here in the first semi-final of Capital Football PS4 National Premier League action. And we remain locked at 2 goals apiece. But a free kick coming up for Canberra Olympic. Great to have your company on Bar TV this afternoon as we get into this evening. A reminder that the second semi-final will be tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock Canberra time kickoff, and that is between Gungahlin United and Canberra FC. Congratulations to Gungahlin for making their first finals campaign in Capital Football. Just about everybody up for Canberra Olympic as the free kick is taken and cleared away, hacked away as far as Colbertaldo. Colbertaldo still going. Across wide to Habta Mariam. Chaos ball still going over the end of the field. Clearing kick comes from Belconnen United. Oh, that's poor. Poor communication. Jeremy Habta Mariam. He's got onto the back of it. He's picked it up. He's lost his footing. He's got back in. Just needed someone to give him a helping hand. It almost flies around the honeypot here, the ball being sent around at great pace. Yanes takes a tumble. It's still with Olympic. Rene. Dispossessed by Mikowski. Mikowski to Fabrizio. Fabrizio gets tangled up with Yarnold. Now Yarnold's going to cop a card for this. He's not happy. Fabrizio's been that man today. Yarnold getting caught up in the legs of Daniel Fabrizio. So the conversation happening between a couple of players and the referee. Never seen that conversation actually achieve anything. So, Jason Ugrinich places the ball. What is he? 12 yards out. These are the awkward ones. I spoke about this earlier. The ones that are right on the edge of the penalty box, they're fairly set for. The ones that are about 20 yards out, they're more optimistically hit than anything else. So these are the awkward ones. He's got 5 targets across the top of the penalty area. Ball hangs in the air probably a little bit more than he would have liked. I think it may have actually come off a defender. It has. It's come off Nathan Megic. So now it'll be a corner. I was watching Ugrinich there because he seemed to really be hanging back. We're into the last minute of extra time. Belconnen United play this smart. They will be able to stop Olympic having any further chance to score. In the end, the corner was pretty much wasted. Punched out two-handed by Constantinou. Now it's Yanes. Puts it into the path of Habtemariam. Habtemariam out wide to Dominici. Dominici back to Habtemariam. Now Colbertaldo. He's got Rene on the far side. Finds him. Rene has to pause. Colbertaldo. Yanes loses possession of it. Beaten by his own speed. Ball goes up forward. Fabrizio can get himself into a one-on-one with the right touch here. He's into the box. He's made the angle too acute. Puts it across. Comes off a defender. We're into extra time in injury time, the first period of. So you would imagine that Belconnen United need to do something with this penalty kick. With this corner kick, rather. Greenwich takes the corner. Found the head of Isaac Clements. But once the ball was out of the box, the referee blows the whistle and says, "Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's our first 15. We have just 15 minutes remaining. We're still locked at 2. And a reminder that the winner of this game goes straight through to the grand final. You do have to ask the question, and I know we have to have a final series, and I know we have to have a winner, but you do have to ask the question now, what does it do to a side that loses a game today like this, that then has to come up against a side tomorrow that may go through off just the back of 90 minutes? Gungahlin United or Canberra FC, whichever side wins that tomorrow, provided it doesn't go to extra time, you've just got to wonder, is there a better way of doing it in a final series? Robert Katanak is getting a bit of a rub down for Canberra Olympic. There's a player down for Belconnen United doing some stretching, and I think he got a bit of a rub as well. I'm not sure if it was Zach Mabry or not. So it's 2 apiece. If you've just joined us on Bar TV, the tale of the tape so far, as the referee says, come on, we've got to get on with this. Tale of the tape is that Belconnen United took the lead in the first half, about 8 minutes before half-time, courtesy of a free kick from Dustin Wells that bounced around. Great header from Fabrizio, I think it was, before it was put away by Jason Ugrinich. Canberra Olympic replied with Robert Katanak, courtesy of some fancy footwork of Stephen Dominici. 6 minutes later, we went into half-time 1-1. Game stayed in a stalemate for quite some time after that. Took another 32 minutes after the break before Joshua Galevsky charged in on a loose ball, powered it in low into the corner of the net for Canberra Olympic to give them a 2-1 lead. And just as all seemed lost, Belconnen United got back into it when Fabrizio drew a penalty with 3 minutes left in regulation time. Jason Ugrinich had no problem converting. 2-2 was the score after 90 minutes. We've now reached 105 minutes. And we remain at 2-2. And it's Belconnen United, if you've just joined us, running from right to left, who have possession of the ball. They send it forward. Rene in defence. Doesn't have to touch it. And the Olympic keeper Angelo Constantinou, return the ball to play. Megic. Long ball. Looking for Katanak. Katanak had 2 issues to overcome there. Speed of his own and speed of the defender in front of him. End-to-end stuff at the moment. And it's back in the hands of Constantinou again. He goes for the long high ball. It's bouncing around dramatically. Colbertaldo flies. Might have put a bit of a push in. Referee thought so. Gives away the free kick. Clements with the kick too deep for United. And it'll be a throw in for Rene in the far corner of the field. 90 seconds gone in extra time in the second period. A long ball here. Now, Durack caught in two minds, had come out of the area. In the end, a couple of Belconnen United defenders got back, but all they can do is hook it out over the sideline. Maycourt with the throw, have to marry him. Maycourt cleared by Beaton, only as far as Fabrizio. Fabrizio, can he get onto it again? He does. He's had a good game today, has Fabrizio. Now it's Wells. He's across to the far side. He's run on forward as Wells, as has Fabrizio. Multiple options in the box. Long range shot goes over the bar. Two and a half gone. How far can we stretch the rubber band in the next 12 minutes? Will it break? Mazis, Leo Mazis, still going, loses the ball. He's one of the freshest men on the field. He's only been on since about the 83rd minute. He goes away. Dominici hasn't scored today. Rare event for him. 27 goals in 16 matches prior to today for the season, but nothing on the score sheet for him today. Mikevsky now for Belconnen United. Puts it across into the path of Beaton. Beaton finds Mazis. Mazis can only put the ball into the path of Rene. Rene puts the ball high in the air. Headed away by Gabreza. That's your Greenwich over in that far corner. It's a bit hard to pick up. It's a bit dull in that far corner, the light. Ball goes over the far side. Rene will take the throw in. Another minute ticks by. 11 and a half remaining before we go to the dreaded penalties. Now Dominici puts the ball to his own advantage. Still going, has to wait for the bounce. Gets into the top of the square. He's got 3 to beat, 2 to beat, and he can't do that. Can't do it all on his own. Olympic, though, they get a chance to rebound through Maycourt. Abdamariam. Cross in. This is dangerous in the middle of the park. Kadanak just looked a little bit slow there for mine. Maybe tiring a little. As with Beaton for the defence. Durack clears it again. Up over halfway. That's a long kick. Still going and still going and still going. Now, I've just noticed here someone's down for Belconnen United. And he's holding his left knee. I can't see who it is because Nathan Megic is standing right in front of him. Well, he's up. But I don't know whether he's going to continue. He's had some tape on the knee that he's just pulled off. Getting ready to come on is Sam Smith. So what do we call that? The 110th minute, Sam Smith comes on. And that does us just about completely 4 substitutions for this afternoon, or this evening, or tonight, call it what you will. And it is indeed Jason Ugrinic who's come off. He scored 2 today. The way he was limping, you've got to wonder how much has he got left in the season. Crowd getting very animated here. We have 9 minutes of regular injury time left, and I'd imagine we'll get probably 2 minutes of additional time, should it be necessary. Gaines, in the end, has no option but to pass it back. Constantinou. Takes his time. Still no panic from either side here. Fabrizio goes across field. Now to Beaton. Across to Williams. He's been fairly quiet today, Williams, since coming on with about 20 to go in regulation time. Has a bit of push and shove there. Referee says that'll be a kick that the keeper can take as it goes out over the end of the field. 8 minutes remaining. Gaines again. Now Rene. He stops and props. Back to Yanes. Sakanis involved in this as well. Who's up forward? Won't surprise you to hear it's Dominici and Katanak. Have to marry him on the far side, but once again, Belconnen United come away with the ball. Oh, spoke too soon. Across to Habtemariam now. He can wait, puts the ball into the path of Cole Bataldo. It's right on the goal line. Sends it across. A real wasted opportunity. Quick rebound from the men in sky blue. Wells, Beaton. Beaton goes long onto the far side. Charging in is Fabrizio, but charging out is Constantinou. He does well, gets both hands on it. Sends it into the path of Habtemariam. Jeremy Habtemariam. Working hard, loses the ball at the halfway line. United back into attack through Mikevsky. Now onto Mazis. Mazis still going. All rebounds away. Fabrizio, little chip kick to his own advantage. Tries to get there, does get there. Turns around through 270 degrees. Loses the ball, headed out. Attack still on for United. Mikevsky brought to ground. It will be a free kick. Well, you can have about the best seat in the house for this one on Bar TV. Six minutes remaining, plus injury time. Dustin Wells, earlier in the day, had a free kick from a little bit further out. Put it in from memory. It was the head of Fabrizio he found, and then Greenwich was able to slam it home. Greenwich no longer on the park, and Fabrizio, considerably tired a man. But he's there. What can Wells do? Puts it out wide, and no one able to charge onto it. 5.5 minutes left, plus injury time. A real footballing arm wrestle. It's been a game that's been scrappy at times. Certainly no quarter asked and no quarter given. Belconnen United just trying to, at this stage, hold the ball up in defence. Beaton turns around. Passes it through Wells. Is that Smith on the far side? Ball comes in, he loses his footing. Just a little bit of dew starting to come down at this stage of the evening now. Certainly cooled down a lot. End-to-end stuff. Ball goes to ground. Dominici, I think it was in there. Wasn't? No. Who was it? Very hard to pick when he's down and staying down. Jordan Sekenis. Eventually gets up, which is helpful. 4 minutes remaining. Throw in from Olympic. The fans not happy with the referee. Play goes on. Ball comes up the field. Ball goes back down the field. Habtemariam still with it. Now it's Sekenis. Sekenis still going. Now he's brought down at the top of the square. Is he? No. Rene. Sends Olympic forward again. Now it's Yanes. Colbertaldo. Colbertaldo goes for the long ball, and it goes over the top of the bar. 3.5 remaining. The crowd getting vocal. And as I say, the crowd get vocal, they get even more vocal. Shot before from Habtemariam must have taken a deflection. So they've got a corner. 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. The low corner, the chaos ball in the penalty box. It bounces around and around. It's cleared by Belconnen United. Rene able to get onto it. Now Fabrizio's charging in at pace. Almost got there. Long ball from Rene. Straight into the path of Sekenis. They call for handball. Referee doesn't say he's seen anything. Keeper comes right out of the area. Puts the clearing kick in. Sent back up forward by Makor. Now with Jeremy Habtemariam again. Cleared once more. Beaton tries to get to it. He can't do it. Colbertaldo has been one of the best for Olympic. Goes for the long range shot. It goes about 6 feet to the left of the posts. Into the last 2 minutes now of this game. Oh, we will be by the time the kick is taken. It'll be 2 minutes plus. Maybe another 2 minutes of injury time. Belconnen United clear it down to the other end of the park. Rene. That's Katanak. Yanes. Colbertaldo. Oh, he's been cleaned up on the clearance there. That really hurt. You could hear almost the air forced out of him in that collision there. Colbertaldo still sitting on the ground. And both sides have made 3 substitutions. Colbertaldo gets up. The clock's into the last minute. I'd reckon 3 minutes of injury time. As we've seen Hugh Greenwich down earlier. Ball put into the area and cleared straight away by the defence. 30 seconds of regulation extra time remaining. And then we're into the final lottery before the penalty shootout. Colbertaldo down again, a yellow card comes out. No real surprise that the yellow card's been furnished. Colbertaldo, victim of the second heavy challenge in as many minutes. And we are now into injury time at the end of extra time. Can't be much left. And if that was a second yellow, that means it's a red, wasn't it? Was it a second yellow for him? We don't get notifications as to who the yellows are, but well, then he's off. Well, very, very short injury time. Leo Mazis off the ground. And now it's 11 on 10, and it's a penalty. Penalty shootout. Here we come. So lots of shaking of hands going on. I did ask before the game about penalty shootouts, and one of the officials, who shall remain nameless, said, let's not talk about that. I therefore apologise profusely. So, as you can see, there's conversation aplenty to take place. I've already given you the recap a few minutes ago as to how we reached this point. I can't imagine Leo Massas is going to be terribly thrilled with himself, you know. To get a red card in about the 119th minute when a penalty shootout is in the offing. But what do? You just don't do that kind of thing. So let's see who steps up. Which end do we go to? All that kind of stuff. Albert Katanak and Taylor Beaton have gone up to the referee for the chat. Explain the whole process. You've seen them all before. You know how penalty shootouts work. You don't need me to tell you anything. Other than that, I need to start pulling out some different coloured pens to keep track of it all in my book. Just wait to see who's going to shoot first. And then we'll just keep you posted on the numbers. It's all we can do. Love them or hate them, you can guarantee one thing: there is always drama during a penalty shootout. It's the best of 5. And then if we go any further than that, well, it's the whole sudden death situation. We'll get some circles here on the book. We're going to the far end. Really not a great deal else that we need to say at this stage, other than to wish both sides the best of luck. To bear in mind that the winner of our penalty shootout here will go directly through to the grand final in a fortnight. The loser gets another crack. But how do you reckon Gungahlin United and Canberra FC are feeling right now, having watched these two sides put each other through the ringer for the last 120 minutes, and now having to go to this? It'll be Olympic to shoot first by the looks of that. And if I got this right, is it Constantinu to take the first shot? Keeper versus keeper. Well, a hush falls over the ground. Constantinu versus Durack. And it's bounced around. He's kept it out. Durack looks very happy with himself. As you saw, the referee, the assistant referee, in best position. And it's in the back of the net. Sam Smith puts it away. So after the first shot apiece, it's 1-0. It's not Sam Smith. Goran Mikevsky. There you go. Lack of communication. Well, here's a man who knows how to take them, Stephen Dominici. You say that, and what odds would you get on the leading goal scorer in this competition? And the leading goal scorer by a long way, a man who he has goals for breakfast, lunch and dinner. But a great save from Finn Durack. What a night he's suddenly having. Dustin Wells, a man with a very powerful foot, steps up to take the second. Constantinou set, whistle blows. Wells goes left, Constantinou goes the other way. 2-0 in the penalty shootout to decide who goes through to the grand final first. Robert Katanak, the man who levelled the game for Olympic earlier in proceedings, steps up to take the third shot. There's a bit of pressure here. Durack gets a hand on it, but the ball goes into the back of the net, 2-1. Up steps Fabrizio. Daniel Fabrizio earned a penalty for his side earlier in the game. If he scores this, Belconnen United are 1 goal away from going through to the grand final. They're 2-1 up. This is the third kick. Waits for the keeper to go one way, puts it in the net in the other, and now we could be just 1 kick away from this being sorted. Jeremy Habtemariam, the man tasked with keeping Canberra Olympic out of a sudden death game next weekend. The man trying to delay the passage of Belconnen United into the grand final by another few moments. Durack doesn't even bother taking a dive at it. He's bouncing around like a 3-year-old who'd been on the red cordial all afternoon as Habtemariam was coming in. That's 3-2, but this could be the decider. It's the man I had down as set to take the first one. Sam Smith. They've connected with their first 3. And Sam Smith puts Belconnen United into the grand final in 2 weeks' time. Scenes of jubilation from the underdogs from Belconnen United. As they all run in, they'll get a week off. Canberra Olympic valiant in defeat. They came from behind. They took the lead. They surrendered the lead. The deadlock could not be broken during the 30 minutes of extra time. And in the end, we didn't even need the fifth shot from either side in the penalty shootout. Some goal line heroics from Belconnen United keeper Finn Durack, saving the first two penalties, and his teammates Goran Mikevsky, Dustin Wells, Daniel Fabrizio and Sam Smith all converting from the spot to give Belconnen United a 4-2 penalties win after we were locked at 2 apiece after extra time. Belconnen United, the first side into the Capital Football Grand Final. Canberra Olympic do live to fight another day. They will play next weekend, the winner of tomorrow's semi-final number 2 between Gungahlin United and Canberra FC. On behalf of everyone at Capital Football and Bar TV, this is Chris Coleman wishing you a very good evening from Deakin. We look forward to your company again next time we cover the Capital Football.